right, good evening, everybody. Good to see everybody here. Thank you for attending our meeting. We are going to call this meeting to order. The time is now 6:00 p.m. Madam Secretary, if I can have roll call.
Present.
I'm present. Trustee Dooley.
Present.
Trustee Gross.
Present.
President Hannah.
Present.
Trustee Miller.
Present.
Treasurer Terry.
Present.
Madam President.
Awesome. If we can offer the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America. Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to make an amendment to the agenda to add item under regular working agenda, under curriculum and instruction, overnight field trip, Pontiac Robotics attendance at Saginaw Valley University. If I can get a motion.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by trustee Dooley, second by trustee Gross to amend the agenda. Any questions? Roll call, please.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Trustee Gross.
Yes.
President Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
That passes 7.
All right, thank you. Now if I can get a motion to approve the amended agenda, please.
So move.
It's been moved by VP Bowman, supported by trustee Dooley to approve the amended agenda. Any questions? Roll call.
Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Trustee Gross.
Yes.
President Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
And I'm voting yes. That passes 7.
All right, thank you. Moving down the agenda under awards and recognitions, we have a special recognition today for our students at Kennedy, honor of Down Syndrome Month. Dr. Leverett.
Thank you, President Hannah. Good evening, trustees. Good evening to our guests. We are very honored this evening to celebrate 3 of our young ones who have exemplified just outstanding leadership with their abilities. Ms. Shields, so to you and your staff at Kennedy, I just thank you so much for what you do. It's very emotional as we look at celebrating Down Syndrome Month, but it's also exciting because, again, we know what the students are able to do. And so today we celebrate their abilities. With that being said, I would like to recognize Aaron Berrigan de la Cruz. Aaron displays leadership qualities when asked to assist his peers and or staff. Aaron enjoys attending school, and this is evident in his excellent attendance. Aaron has great friendship skills. He is a compassionate individual, assisting others with belongings. He prides himself with following the rules and trying to assist others to follow the rules. Aaron's character is that of a protector. He wants to make sure that everything and everyone is good. This certificate of distinction is proudly presented to you, Aaron, in recognition of your achievements as a student in honor of World Down Syndrome Day 2025. Aaron, you are an outstanding leader and peer. You are compassionate and a good friend. We celebrate you today, Aaron.
All right, Aaron.
This next student, Maria Guadalupe Rivas Guillanton. Maria has taken on the role of a leader in our class. She can navigate through the building to assist during breakfast and lunch. Maria works on staying on task. She also likes to dance. You wouldn't know it because she comes off as shy. She has shown great progress with peers, social engagement. Although a misconception of how butterflies emerge, I will use the cliche to describe Maria. She is a butterfly coming out of her cocoon. Spread your wings, beautiful butterfly. Keep doing great. Maria, this certificate of distinction is proudly presented to you in recognition of your achievements as a student in honor of World Down Syndrome Day 2025. You are an excellent classroom leader, Maria. You work well with peers, stay focused on tasks, and has great attendance. Continue to soar, Butterfly Maria. One of our littlest Phoenix, William, is an exceptional student who demonstrates leadership qualities, enjoys sorting items by color, and is full of energy. He thrives in the company of his classmates, engages with everyone he encounters, and eagerly participates in high-energy activities. William is a bright and happy boy who is learning to use his voice more each day. He loves animals, dancing, and fruit. Certificate of distinction. This certificate is proudly presented to you, William, in recognition of your achievement as a student in honor of World Down Syndrome Day. William demonstrates leadership qualities and is full of energy. He thrives in the company of his classmates, engages with everyone he encounters, and eagerly participates high-energy activities. Congratulations, William. That's what these moments are about, really, opportunities to celebrate all of our children's abilities. Thank you so much. Please help me give them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leverett. Trustees, do we have any comments for the families? Starting with Trustee Miller?
To Aaron, Maria, and William, congratulations. Another round of applause for our students. Congratulations. Keep doing amazing things. I see greatness in all of you. Thank you.
Any other comments? Trustee Dooley?
It was great to see those students acknowledge those for the World Syndrome, Down syndrome group of people. It's just another positive example of what PSD is doing, that we invite every single student, no matter where they are, that we can provide an outstanding education. So again, congratulations to you guys, and parents, congratulations to you for getting your kids to school, doing a good job. We commend you.
Trustee Dooley just stole my thunder, my recognition to the parents. That we thank you for trusting your children with us in this district. Bless you all. To my man. That's my guy. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Anybody else? Treasurer Terry?
I want to join in and say congratulations as well as far as recognition. I know it takes hard work, and it shows that you have that dedication and commitment to the parents as well. Also, congratulations and thank you for all that you do. And also, I want to say to the staff members, the ones that help out and teach them and let them learn and become who they are. So I just want to say appreciation to everyone, and everyone helps out, even the community. Because I know it takes a community and a village to raise children. So I just want to say thank you to everyone.
I'll be short and sweet because everyone else said everything, but thank you all for being a part of the PSD family, because families like you help make our district work. So thank you so much for being a part of our family. And congratulations.
Family, we would like to take a picture with you all if that's possible. And then we will excuse you so they don't have to sit here through the entire board meeting. So if everybody can give us a quick 5 minutes recess as we take a picture with the honorees today, that would be great.
I can step behind him because I'm talking to That's my baby.
Tell Tracy. If tell Tracy there's a whole bunch of seats on the front now, she don't have to sit on the side if she doesn't want to.
All right, thank you, everybody, for your patience.
Yes, ma'am. She said no, thank you.
All right, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and continue with our agenda. And I would like to recognize and say good evening again to all of our trustees. Good to see you today. Moving down to our consent agenda, can I get a motion, please, for the approval of the consent agenda? It's been moved by trustee Gross, supported by trustee Bowman for the approval of the consent agenda. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Gross.
Yes.
President
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
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 I'm voting yes. And trustee Gross. That passes 7-0.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on down to information from the superintendent and administration. Dr. Leverett, the meeting is yours.
Thank you, President Hannah. At this time, we will have a presentation by Dr. Tomoko Coco, Dr. Shauna. And this is a great team from Oakland University. They are just wonderful to work with. We have partnered, the district, our pillar is early childhood, but we work simultaneously with Oakland University on just about anything. They are a great partner with us with our MDE partnership. But today we have a very special presentation from our friends at OU, and with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Coco Mulder.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity and the time to talk about, as she said, one of these great opportunities that the school district of the city of Pontiac offers to our students. When we are talking about the great things that are happening at Pontiac High School, this is one of the culminating programs that we are doing with students. It doesn't matter who they are. If they are in this district, we are going to pour into them at the highest level. So our project is reimagining a culturally sustaining infant toddler care and resource hub in Pontiac High School. And we are looking at the voices of the students. What does that look like? We wrote a grant, and the grant was given to us by the Spencer Foundation to bring a CTE program here to the school district of the city of Pontiac. And I think you all introduced that earlier in the year. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to hear the voices of the students. You don't ever want to bring a program into the school district and not ask the students and the people who are going to be benefiting from that, okay? And so as we started to look at what this would look like, our students wanted to participate. And so when we talk about participatory research, we want to look at the community and ask the community, how does this work for you all? And a part of our community is the students. And so the students created a survey, and in that survey, they asked some very culminating questions. How is this going to work? What is this going to look like? How is this going to impact our students? And so with that, we had the opportunity to take kids back to Harvard, one of our favorite places to be, and they got to exhibit their research in front of a plethora of people. And we are always grateful to go to the Alumni of Color Conference and take students, and each year it just gets better and better. So when you're talking about the great things in Pontiac, our kids are stellar. They are above and beyond. So with that, I am Coco Mulder, Dr. Tomoko Wakabayashi, Dr. Shauna Boongard, and I'll let him say his name.
Narsimha Srivatsa.
Say it one more time.
Narsimha Srivatsa.
We know him by Shri. Because Shri. So we partnered this year with the Pontiac Junior Optimist International Club. It's sponsored by PLC. So if you see these young people at Joy, we know that young people can change the world. And so this year, they were it. We said, let's find another group of young people to work with, see what they can bring to the world. And this group of young people have just expanded our reach.
So I do want to acknowledge Dr. Moneta Foster here, who is the president of the Pontiac Optimist Club. So thank you so much for your office as well. Oh, no. Mr. North Ross is here as well. Thank you so much. So just real quickly, because you will see a video that Heidi and Frank actually helped the students prepare. And in it, they will explain a little bit. But this is kind of like a big picture of the Baby Peace program, which is the infant toddler resource and hub that we're hoping to co-create with the community at Pontiac High School. So there will be community interviewers coming and hoping that we would get your input as well. So we have 3 focus areas, and one of the focus area is the community participatory action research that Coco had mentioned, and that's where the students come here. So students actually was part of this community participatory action research.
Hi, today we're here to present about the Baby Peace program at Pontiac High School, presented by the Junior Optimist Club. My name is Narsimha Srivatsa Tumkur, and I'm a senior at Pontiac High School, and this is my team.
Hi, I'm Mario Thomas. I'm a junior at Pontiac High School. Hi, my name is Nadia Donaldson. I'm a sophomore at Pontiac High School.
Okay, so this is our agenda for the day. First, we're going to do a brief introduction about the Baby Peace program, and then we're going to do about the purpose and goal of the program, and then we're going to talk about the role that Junior Optimist Club and their contributions to this project. And then we're going to talk about the survey collection and analysis results. And then you're going to hear students' perspective on the survey, and you're going to hear the teacher's perspective on the survey. And then we'll talk about what would be the major impacts on the Pontiac community from this project. And then further steps, what the district or what the people are taking towards the project. And then we'll talk about a conclusion on how ACEs might impact students or any other individuals. And then here we are at Harvard presenting in front of you.
Hi, everybody. You're probably wondering, what is Baby Peace? Baby Peace is a child care project co-designed by Pontiac School District and Oakland University, offering on-site child care and early childhood education at Pontiac High School for students and young parents. The goal of this project is to inform the high school students and staff about Baby Peace and to get high school students and staff feedback.
You're probably wondering, what is Joy's contribution, aka Junior Optimist Clubs? The Junior Optimist Clubs has played a vital role in the co-design process for gathering and voicing the opinions of high school students and staff. One being brainstorming ways to collect feedback directed on conducting surveys. Number 2 is discussing questions of the inclusions of the survey. And number 3 is helping with help distribute survey, volunteer survey analysis teams formed to analyze the results. Who responded to the survey? 79 people responded, where 81% were students, 19% were staff. 2. Whose children should the baby piece serve? 86.1% of students said students' children, 54.4% said staff, teachers' children, 41.8% said community members' children.
Okay, feedback from PHS students and staff. Do you know of any Pontiac High School students who's pregnant or could benefit from the child care service? So, 65% said no, 16% said yes, and 17% said maybe. Do you know of any Pontiac High School staff who's pregnant or could benefit from this child care service? 83% said no, 4% said yes, and then 11% said maybe. What ages should the child care program primarily serve? Check this out. So, a lot of people said, 65 people said infants, and 70 people said toddlers. And another question that we asked is, what would you want volunteer at the child care program? And 38 people said yes, they would volunteer, and 30% said no, they wouldn't volunteer. 31 said yes, they would volunteer.
Benefits of the Baby Peace program would be students are saying Pontiac High School would be safer and more relaxed. Since the child care would be free, the students could actually focus on school. A result of the survey, students and staff who are pregnant or have children who need babysitting can come and they also can do their job and their work. Another response, it can help many families and would be a way for others to learn about young children and help them decide if they would like to join the child care. Safety challenges, evacuation and shelter lockdown procedures. You don't know who's taking care of this infant or toddler. A student or their infant toddler is injured or sick. Here's a response. Would the students in the CTE be held accountable if something happens to their child in the room? Another response is they should be tested from the doctor and to be cleared in order to attend school. Another response would be transportation issues. Can children ride a bus?
Okay, benefits of the Baby Peace program, and these are teachers' perspective. A child care program at Pontiac High School could offer several benefits, and the teachers say, firstly, could improve attendance and engagement with the teen parents who would be reliable for child care and leading to a better attendance and more focused participation in class. Secondly, teachers said it would enhance classroom focus with reduced stress over their child, and teen parents could also focus on their studies. Thirdly, they said it would support the environment, and the program fosters a sense of community and inclusive, showing that the students care of their students and families also at the same time as caring as their education. And fourthly, teachers said that mentorship opportunities, that teachers can mentor teen parents, providing guidance and the needed support at lasting impact on their academic and their personal goals. And lastly, contribution and their professional development. Teachers said they could, alongside with their children and staff, enhancing collaboration and offering opportunities for professional growth in their children's development. Challenges. So the good thing is the challenges are very less than the benefits. So what the teacher's perspective and challenges are, resource and funding could divert attention from academic needs. And second, staffing, recruiting qualified teachers for the childcare staff may be difficult. Space issues. finding appropriate space without disrupting other classes could be a very big challenge. And lastly, safety and liability, ensuring the program meets its safety standards, managing its risks and benefits. The impact on the Pontiac community supports students' parents to ensure they can continue their education while caring for their children, and strengthens the relationship, fostering a stronger communities network. Lastly, long-term education benefits. It may help break the cycle of adversity childhood experience.
The next step. You're probably guessing, you're probably wondering, what's the next step? The next step includes launching a Baby Peace program in fall 2025, ongoing collaboration with Pontiac School District, Oakland University, and the Junior Optimist Club, and encouraging the community to keep parents and to encourage and encouraging the community by keeping parents and staff updated as the program develops.
Okay, the program design and the features. So firstly, the target market, as there was the question following. So we have chosen that the target market for the childcare service is from infants to toddlers age children. The curriculum is co-designed with the community. Staffing will be delivered by a combination of qualified childcare professionals and Oakland University students providing both high quality care and hands-on experience. The location, where is it located? Conventionally located within the Pontiac High School, ensuring accessibility for student parents and staff. Conclusion, the summary. The Baby Peace program addresses childcare challenges at Pontiac High School by combining childcare with early childhood education to support parents and children.
Acknowledgements. Thank you so much to the Pontiac School District, Oakland University, and the Junior Optimist Club for their continuous support.
Looking ahead, this program will positively impact the Pontiac High School community in promoting educational success for student parents and their children.
Okay, so ACEs. What is ACEs? ACEs is Adverse Childhood Experiences. How does the Baby Peace program affect ACEs, or how could it affect ACEs? Number one, it could reduce stress for the student parents by offering an on-site childcare. The program reduces the stress of managing childcare and education, which lowers the risk of mental health and struggles, and potential ACEs for both the parent and the child. Number two, early childhood education and emotional support. The program provides quality early education, promoting resilience in children and reducing the likelihood of experiencing ACEs like emotional or neglect or social anxiety.
Number three, strengthening family bonds. The program fosters healthier family relationships by supporting positive interactions between student parents and their children, reducing ACEs such as neglect and emotional abuse. Number four, addressing educational and economic inequality. By helping the students and parents stay in school, the program reduces poverty and financial instability, which are major contributors to ACEs like housing insecurities and domestic stress.
Number five, breaking the cycle of ACEs. Baby Peace helps break this generational cycle of ACEs by empowering student parents to succeed academically, giving their children a stronger, more stable foundation for the future. Number six, the conclusion. Baby Peace program reduces ACEs by offering a supportive environment for student parents and their children, fostering academic success, emotional growth, and long-term stability. By providing resources, emotional support, and educational opportunities, the program helps reduce stress and challenges faced by young parents, preventing the cycle of trauma, and promoting healthier relationships and more stable home environments.
The Baby Peace program can significantly impact ACEs, adverse childhood experience, by addressing facts by student, parents, and providing a stable environment for their children.
Wow.
So we're gonna let Shri answer any questions that you all may have for him.
And just so you know, so all of the students were ACE trained, that we're discussing that, just so that you all understand. Any questions?
All right, we'll start to my left with trustee Dewey.
I think this is a win-win for everyone. It's a win for the student that has a child that needs to get to school. That should increase attendance as well as graduation rate. It also helps the parents at home that are helping those students because now they're alleviated from providing childcare. And then it assures the parent and the grandparents that the child will be taken care of. So I think this is a great program and I wish you much success.
All right.
Hi.
Chivers.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm extremely impressed with your presentation. I know you've been working closely with Oakland and Joy, but who created the questionnaire?
It was actually the Joy Club who created the questionnaire. We all had an idea of creating the survey. So yeah.
Excellent. And what age group are you looking for to actually be the caretakers of the youth in the school? Because I'm sure it's not going to be kids within the school because they're still learning. So what age group are you looking for to be the caretakers of the children?
So I would say personally, I would say around 25 or older, someone who has a bachelor's degree or higher and who's trained to take care of these children.
And who would create the criteria? Who would do the hiring and the actual implementation of employment letters going out? And lastly, we all know that they have to be vetted by the district. So we're aware of that. So I just want to, just give an outline.
So I'm gonna answer that because that's a question he may not know.
He may not.
Right, so there's a collaborative partnership between Oakland University and the school districts of the city of Pontiac. And so Nicole has graciously offered the opportunity to, one, house the relationship between Oakland University's School of Education, the Early Childhood Program, right?
There it is.
So that's where those educators will be coming from, and the students that are in the CTE Early Childhood Program would have the opportunity to earn those college credits by working with Nicole and that team. So when you talk about your CTE program, you want the hands-on opportunity for those students to learn while they're earning college credit, while making a decision to use Promazone money to graduate and choose a post-secondary opportunity, whether that ends up at OU, OCC, or wherever they choose. So he may not know that answer.
No, I'm glad you said that because that was something I was going to mention, but you took care of everything. And this is wonderful. This is excellent, and it's needed because it alleviates stress on students and staff if their child is being monitored while they're working or in school. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Trustee Mo.
Phenomenal work for your program, your presentation, all the members of your club, phenomenal work. I have just a question. Being that you're looking at more infant age children, bringing them into a high school environment, is there a projected or estimated cost to like baby-proof the rooms and make it more accessible for smaller children?
Yes.
I will answer that one too. So I don't know, many moons ago, if anybody was a Pontiac Husky back in the day, there actually was. I know y'all sensitive about y'all stuff, but there actually was an infant and toddler program at Pontiac Northern at the time. And so we actually don't have a building cost because the rooms are already readily made for infants and toddlers. So that's not going to be a cost to the district, which is wonderful. However, we will be transitioning people who are actually in, I'm so sorry, to the special education department, but that is where the space is already set up. It's already geared for littles. The water fountains are low, the bathroom toilets are low, It has an observation room, so it's perfect for returning that project back to the school district. So it was once there, and some board many years ago, many years ago, decided to pull it out. But we are one of the few school districts that did not have a CTE early childhood program, and the school district has graciously brought it back in. And so it's a great opportunity for our students in the CTE program, along with OU's early childhood, OCC's CDA program, to merge and make this a process where we shift young people into education. So that's the pathway that we are trying to create for young people.
I assure you, they're really low. I
Very good, all right, VP Bowman.
I'm glad that the ACEs component is tied into this. Can you just expand on that just a brief bit so that people that are not aware of what ACEs is can get that understanding?
Right. ACEs is an adverse childhood experiences, and everyone most probably goes through it. So it could be abuse, or it could be any sort of like the family could not support the children or anything like that. Anything that stresses the students when they're children, and main part is it's not their fault. So ACEs, that's the overview of ACEs, and yeah, and it also impacts later on by the students could be not expressive or could not contribute with others. They would be in their own hole. So yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments? Shree, you did awesome.
I did.
You and your team. And to Dr. Shauna, Dr. Tomoko, and soon to be Dr. Coco, we love the energy and everything that you guys pour into our students here. Like you said, this is an ongoing program. You've done with the kids. Last year went to Harvard, and this group too. It just continues to get better and better, and we can't thank you enough for what you do for our students. So thanks again.
And I would like to thank my father who sent me to Harvard.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Great job.
Okay, thank you, President Hannah and trustees. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Clark Franklin and Mr. Huddleston. They will be providing past presentation to us this evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm going to step to the side and allow Mr. Hudson to present about the PASS program, Pontiac Academy for Student Success, which is one of the education program at Pontiac.
So we first say good evening to everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Board members, the new board members, those at home watching television. Hey. My name is James Huddleston, and I am currently the program coordinator for the Pontiac Academy for Student Success program. And I've been with the district for, anybody have a calculator?
Quite some
Maybe
time.
25 years, something like that. And I'd just like to take a few minutes to present our goals and objectives and some of the things that we stand for and strive for in our program. Okay, starting with the mission statement, the Pontiac Academy for Student Success program is dedicated to empowering students by providing a supportive and nurturing environment that fosters academic excellence, personal growth, and community engagement. Our mission is to equip students with the necessary skills, knowledge, and resources to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally, while preparing them for the future success in a rapidly evolving world. Through individualized support, wait a minute.
Behind you. Right behind you. Right behind you.
I'm sorry. That's what I can do.
You can take the microphone off too, Mr. Huddleston. if you need to.
Mentorship and innovative learning strategies, we aim to inspire students to reach their full potential and become responsible, confident, and compassionate leaders in their communities. Ooh. Okay, our goals, I'm just going to read the main part of the goals from this screen.
You can take the microphone off.
We strive for academic achievement, personal development, college and career readiness, individualized support, next slide, parent and family involvement, life skill development, and sustainable successes. These goals are aimed to create a hostile approach to student success, focusing on both academic and personal development to prepare students for a successful future. Also, hostile realistic. Okay, and one thing that we look at is the selection process by which students are sent to our program. First of all, it has to come from a high school or a district administrator to make that determination. Usually it comes from the result of a district hearing that's conducted by student services or at the building level. And those who enroll late into our district, for example, if you come midway through the semester, or if there's only 5 weeks left in a 20-week semester, you will start off in the alternative or the Pontiac Academy for Success program. Also, students returning from adjudicated facilities such as Children's Village, et cetera, those who are court-ordered or probation officers sent them to the program. Students that display a pattern of chronic absenteeism may be moved to pass up to 2 semesters. At the end of the first semester, juniors and senior students who display a pattern of chronic absenteeism or have failed 75 or 6 courses and have received 3 or more B or C level referrals may be moved to the pass program for up to 2 semesters. That's the process by which students come to our program, and there's a process by which they are returned to the high school. Students who are in our program, first of all, there is a meeting held with the parent after the student displays the ability to return to a normal high school setting. The student transcripts and CA39 forms are evaluated and reviewed, and then we determine student capabilities. Well, actually, the administration of the high school determine the student capabilities for reading, writing, and comprehension. If students enroll more than 9 weeks, they must be 50% or more complete with the core 3 or 4 of the courses they're enrolled in. If a student is enrolled at least 1 semester, they must earn 1 credit or more. The student must have attended 75% or more of the available days while in the program. And then at that point, students' behavior will be evaluated individually as needed. And the expected outcome. First of all, we have currently 21 students in our program that have been assigned to attend. And the expected outcome for the Pontiac Academy for Student Success program are for students to align with the program goals and mission, ensuring that students achieve significant growth and readiness for future success. Also, the expected outcomes is that they are to improve academic performance, increase high school graduation rates, enhance college and career readiness, have a stronger emotional and social development, involved in active community engagement, develop life skills, and long-term success and sustainability. Looking at some demographics, currently, as I said earlier, we have 21 students in our program. When we started, you may look at that number 40 as being high, but what happened was some of the students were automatically rolled over from the previous school year, but research was done, phone calls were made, and it was determined that 40 of those students actually were no longer really participating in school, so they were dropped from the program, did not affect attendance rates and other types of data. From looking at the grade level, we have 7 12th graders in the program, 4 11th graders, 3 10th graders, and 7 9th graders at the moment. Gender, for those math people, 15 and 5 to 9 equal 21. There should be 6 females and 15 males. Just want to point that out. So we got 6 females and 15 males from a gender perspective. From an ethnic breakdown, there are 9 African Americans in the program, 8 Hispanic and Latino students, 1 Black and white student, 2 Asians, and 1 white student. And that concludes the presentation for the Pontiac Academy for Student Success Program.
I just want to add one component that I don't believe Mr. Huddleston mentioned. Currently, the success program is online option only. The students attend virtual. What questions do you have?
Yes, one of my questions. Thank you for the presentation. And this is something I look forward to every year hearing, because I know of kids who are coming from places that are coming back to the district. So my question is, who determines the timeline of completion of this program? Once a kid comes from, whether it's Children's Village or some type of facility within, from wherever in the state, comes back to Pontiac School District and enroll in the program, who determines the timeline of completion before a child can be readmitted to the general population of the public school, within high school, or even some go from middle school? But your program is strictly high school, correct?
So it depends on when the student is enrolled. We look at movement at the end of the semester. So if a student comes into pass in, let's say, October, they will be placed there to the end of January, into the end of the first semester. And at that time, we will evaluate their performance. They've been there more than 9 weeks, so the expectation they would have earned at least 1 credit. They would have attended at least 75% of the days if they were enrolled, and they wouldn't have minimal behavioral infractions.
And I give you a hypothetical. Say a child came out of Children's Village in October, and they entered the PASS program. They have the ability to be able to go into the high school setting at the end of the semester or the start of the next semester.
As long as they met the criteria,
I mean, yes, that's determined.
at the end of the semester, they would transfer into Pontiac High School.
And the reason I'm stickling on this, Dr. Leverett and I have talked about this, as well as the previous superintendent, Dr. Williams, because I was a probation officer for 30 years. And we had kids who came from a program and actually came back into the district. And I just needed to, when I get phone calls, I let them know the process is going into PASS, and it's determined on the time of entry, how long they stay, and based on them completing the task at hand within the PASS program to determine whether or not they go into the regular high school setting, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's all that, that's what to make sure.
Just want to add to that, there are also times when I've made observations when a student is enrolled and I see a certain level of maturity or a certain amount of courses have been completed or a certain amount of courses are needed that are not available online, then I make the recommendation that they return, and it may take place a few weeks into the second semester. But give them ample time to complete a semester's of work.
And that's good. And lastly, how strong is your parental participation with the program?
Well, it starts off with that participation. The first thing that happens is a meeting with the parent, and they sign a consent form that says they are aware that their child is working virtually. And on that form, there's the phone number and the email, and it starts off with the parent meeting. I would have to say that I have strong parental support because at the initial meeting, I get the necessary information, email, contact, or phone.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
The house is, so.
No, that's good. Thank you. Thank you.
He does.
How is the learning monitored? So here I'm a student and I'm at home and I need assistance. How do I reach out for assistance with my learning? And then how are you monitoring my learning as a student?
Good question. According to the auditors, we must do what's called two-way interaction. A link is created during the Google Class meeting. It's placed in the chat. The student and the teacher clicks on the link, and in a separate room, the teacher assists the student in that particular discipline. I know about
I mean, the teacher. So how many teachers do you have?
4, one for each core area.
Okay, so you don't have a lot of students. That makes sense.
Right.
How much is this costing the district? Anybody can answer it. That knows the answer. Okay.
Well, I could say that a license is $114 per license, and we use them well. And because if one student transitions back and no longer needs the program, we fill that spot with another student without paying them just a license. So I think it's utilized pretty good.
My last question, is there any, relation to the adult ed program? Are you correlated there any kind of way?
No.
No. And the only reason I asked about the program, I looked at a budget and I couldn't find your, program on the budget.
We can get that information for you, trustee Dooley, but are there any other questions? No? Any other trustees? Yeah. Treasurer Terry.
With the 21, I guess, current students or participants that are currently there, do we have anything like measurable that can be showed or presented as far as, when they came in versus to where they are now? And then as far as, I guess, progressing out, and then once they do progress out, is there anything that we do, I guess, outside of that, just to see how effective the program was and make sure they're staying on task?
Well, personally, I do send out progress reports to parents bi-weekly. And if a student is not progressing, I contact the parent and I invite them to the link to meet with them as well. And I show them the students' login times, days, how long they've been online, what they're doing or not doing. And usually once that occurs and the parent can see the next few days, the amount of engagement increases on the student part.
Develop a way, so once they transition back from pass to the high school, usually when they come back, they meet with the administrator and we put them on a plan and connect them with the BIS to help them emotionally and socially. Help them emotionally and socially transition back, and then the counselor is responsible to track the academics.
Anything else, Treasurer Terry? All right, anybody else have any questions? Yes, trustee Mullin.
I appreciate you mentioning them transitioning back to the high school. My question was, being that they're online only, do they still have access to athletics and things like that will keep them socially integrated in school?
Not at this time.
Would that be something that you would maybe look into or potentially?
Anything's on the table. The previous Superintendent Williams, said no. She took that off the table. So. Ms. Franklin, has graduation rates increased because of this program? So I would have to look at the actual data, but I believe last school year,
Yes.
eight students that graduated from the past program. So, some people may think 8's a small number, but if you only have 30 students, that's a nice number of students that are completing and graduating. And I want to also lift, we've had students who have performed really well there. We've had students say, you know what, it's too much noise here at Pontiac High School. I need to be able to focus. And so transitioning to pass by their own choice or their parent choice, and that being a more successful environment for them just because they're able to drown out that noise. So for students like that, it has been successful. And I'm just thinking about the one lady that just came back, her brother. That's how he was able to tap in and go ahead and graduate last year. So what's the time frame for these classes, especially when we have poor teachers? They're not, the online, can the students just log on at their leisure, or are they in school at a regular assigned time?
First, I want to go back to graduation. Of the 21, currently 4, 2 have already graduated today. They finished one today. 2 more are really close. Regarding the time frame, our program is 2:30 to 6:30. So they are in class 4 hours at least daily. And during that 4-hour time frame, they rotate classes. Opposed to working on one class 4 hours, which is kind of equivalent to not doing the other 3, they rotate. But during the day, they have access to their class 24/7. And not just that 4-hour time frame.
Trustee Miller, I just wanted to circle back. Were you done with your questions? Okay. Are you done, Trustee Jones? Vicky Vaughn.
If a student at Pontiac High decides I don't want to be in the general population and I want to do just online, can someone just opt into the program, to the PATH program? Okay, thank you.
All right. Everybody good?
Good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Leverett.
Yes, at this time we'll have Jennifer Dean with our mid-year benchmark assessment data presentation. And as Jennifer is coming to get ready, I wanted to thank you, Mrs. Clark Franklin, thank you, Mr. Huddleston, on your presentation for the past, because I know we talk a lot about what the elementary interventions look like, and this is one of those secondary interventions when we look at those 3 tiers. So thank you for that, and thank you for the past again. Jennifer.
Good evening, board trustees, community and staff members. I'm coming to you tonight with our mid-year benchmark assessment data. So that's the iReady test for our K-8 students, the NWA test for our 9 through 12 students. Before I begin, there's been a lot of talk about possible restructuring in the district. And with that, we've heard the voice of the community and the staff. The voices have been very passionate and emotional. And that passion and emotion comes with change, because change is uncomfortable. Tonight, I'm presenting the data a little bit differently. I want to help you look at these changes through a different lens. Our hope is that this information helps drive some of the passion to an understanding that provides the best possible experience for all of our students. I would ask that you hold your questions until the end, as some questions may be answered throughout the presentation. And it is a bit of a lengthy presentation tonight, so I like to honor everybody's time and get through it, but make sure that we answer those questions. As a curriculum instruction department and the schools as well, we all own this data, and we want to make sure that we answer these questions. So our testing window for the winter was January 13th through February 14th. We did have to extend that an additional 2 weeks due to all of the snow days, or the snow days falling on a Thursday, but then Friday our attendance was a little bit lower and it wasn't a good day for testing. So we did have a little extension there. The 2 tests that we'll talk about are iReady and NWA. iReady is criterion reference, so we're looking at students working at grade level. And both tests are computer adaptive. So the students start on the test at their grade level. As they answer questions correctly, the questions get harder and move up in grade level. Or if they're answering incorrectly, the questions get harder and move down in grade level. That's for criterion reference when we're talking about assigning a grade level to a student. NWA is a little bit different. It's norm referenced. So when a test is norm referenced, we're taking all of the students across the world that take the test, putting them together, ranking them, and finding that 50th percentile. So 50% of the students do better, 50% of the students go below that. That 50th percentile is what we could call the norm for the grade level of those students. So looking at kindergarten reading, and then just a review, so we're looking at some bars in green and yellow here. The green bars are students that are tier 1, they're on or above grade level. Tier 2 is students that are 1 year below grade level. And then tier 3 is the student, which we don't see any tier 3 in kindergarten because, we've only got preschool before them, so we're not 2 years below there. But when we look at some of these other slides, we'll see the red bars, and that's tier 3, and that's students that are working at 2 or more levels below grade level. Looking at kindergarten reading, we have 31% of our students that are working at grade level as a district. When we break it down and look at school levels, we're anywhere from 12% to 53%. Looking at kindergarten math, we have 17% of students on grade level as a district. And at the school level, that goes anywhere from 5% to 34%. And then looking at kindergarten growth. So when we're talking about growth, students are all given a target. They're given a typical target and a stretch target. The typical target is the amount of growth that a student of similar age, grade level, etc., on that content area would make in 1 year. The stretch growth is to accelerate that growth so that they're making like a year plus another third year's worth of growth. So for a typical growth target, a student who's working at grade level, the typical growth target is effective for them. Students who are working 1 year below grade level may need 1 to 2 years of achieving that stretch target to reach their grade level proficiency. Students working in 2 years or more below grade level, that stretch growth target maybe needs to be met for anywhere from 2 to 5 years to bring that student to proficiency. When we look at this, we see some differences in the schools. The students at all schools have the same capacity for learning, but we do need to look at the opportunities that are being offered to the students. Some schools have 2 teachers at a grade level that are both new teachers. So when we talk about professional learning communities and teachers working together, we're talking about 2 new teachers working together. When at another school, there might be 2 experienced teachers. When we could bring those teachers together and offer those professional learning communities, they can collaborate more, they can plan more, and they can do more to bring our students along so that all students are reaching those 50% and above. Another issue is some teachers have guest teachers working at specific grade levels, or there's only 1 teacher at that grade level, so they don't have anybody to collaborate with. When we look at days that that teachers are out sick, if we don't have a sub to cover that absence, we're either taking art, music, and gym, which is taking that teacher's planning time to plan for those students who have all the various learning abilities that we need to address, or we're putting those students into a classroom where maybe they're a 3rd grader, but they have to go to a 2nd grade classroom for the day, or a 4th grade classroom for the day, and they're not getting their grade level learning. We need to be able to provide more time for all teachers of grade level to collaborate and learn from one another, whether they're a guest teacher, new teacher, or experienced teacher. And we need to provide more time for the students to be in their grade level classes learning. Looking at 1st grade reading now. As a district, we have 9% of students working at grade level. The schools range anywhere from 2% to 19%. And I'll also point out here, we want to see a movement of those red bars shrinking, the yellow bars growing, so students that are in that tier 3 are moving into that tier 2, and that tier 2 moving into that tier 1. And we are seeing that. With 1st grade math, the district is at 10% proficiency overall, and the schools range from 0% to 21% of students being proficient. And again, the next slide, please, with 1st grade growth. Looking at the number of students that are meeting their growth targets for the typical growth in reading, the stretch growth in reading, and then also looking at the students in 1st grade math who are meeting their typical growth targets and their stretch growth targets. I'll also point out that iReady provides 1 year long targets. So these students are technically on track to meet their targets. So I took the students that were 60% of the way to meeting their target right now in the middle of the year. And those are the students that are considered on track to meeting their growth target. And then in May, when they test again, we'll see who the students actually are that met the growth target. Moving into 2nd grade, as a district, 17% of students are proficient. Schools range anywhere from 4% to 34%. And again, we are still seeing that movement of students moving from tier 2 or tier 3 to tier 2 and tier 2 to tier 1, but we're not seeing the increase in proficiency that we need to see. With 2nd grade math, as a district, we're at 5%. Schools range from 0% to 12%. Okay, there's the 2nd grade math slide. Got the clicker. Hope so. And then looking at 2nd grade growth, percent of students on track to meet their typical and stretch growth targets for both reading and math. And again, you see quite a difference between the schools here. Some schools have 33% on track and some schools have 52% or 56% on track for reading. For math, we've got some schools at 36% and others getting up to 48%. And then looking at those stretch goals, we see even starker differences in students on track to meet the stretch growth. And the stretch growth is where we need our students working, especially if they're at tier 2 and tier 3. Looking at third grade reading, 22% of the district is at grade level, 11% to 44% based on the individual schools. Third grade math, the district's at 10% and the schools range from 5% to 26%. And third grade growth. As we increase in grade levels, we're also seeing a drop in proficiency. We started out stronger at kindergarten, and as we move higher up, we see that those proficiency levels shrinking more and more. Those students meeting their stretch growth shrinking more and more. We need to start a strong foundation for those kindergarten and first grade students. We need to close those gaps early. If we don't close those gaps early, they continue to move up. And then when we see our 8th grade scores and our 9th grade scores and our 10th grade scores, we need to close these gaps early so that when we look at students in 8th grade and 12th grade, we're also seeing that proficiency. Looking at 4th grade reading, the district is at 12%. Schools range from 2% to 33%. Looking at 4th grade math, the district's at 12%. Schools range from 2% to 38%. And 4th grade growth. And moving into 5th grade reading. As a district, we are at 9% of students being proficient. The schools range from 0% to 27%. And again, we are still seeing movement from the kids coming out of tier 3 into tier 2 into tier 1, and that movement is great. We just need to do better for our students at getting into those proficiency levels. 5th grade math, 13% of our students are at grade level, ranging from 0% at the schools to 50%. And you'll also notice that it kind of varies between the schools. Some schools are strong in some grade levels, some schools are not as strong in other grade levels. It's not that we have, one school really standing out. Looking at 5th grade growth, the number of students on track to meet their typical and stretch growth target. And then 6th grade reading. And I noticed as I printed this out, the green bars are missing the number. So the district is at 12% for the fall and 16% for the winter. Pontiac Middle School is at 5% for the fall and 11% for the winter. And ITA is at 26% for the fall and 27% for the winter. So as a district overall, 16% right now. Schools ranging from 11% to 27%. 6th grade math, the district's at 13%, with the schools ranging from 6% to 32%. And the 6th grade growth. And the 6th grade is still under I-Ready, so we're looking at the students on track to meet their targets. And then moving into 7th grade reading. Overall as a district, 17% are at grade level. The schools range from 11% to 40%. 7th grade math, the district is at 14%. The schools range from 11 to 25%. And 7th grade growth, percentage of students on track for typical and stretch growth. Moving to 8th grade reading, the district is at 15%, with schools ranging from 11% to 31%. 8th grade math, the district's at 17%, with schools ranging from 13% to 29%. And 8th grade growth. And then we move into 9th grade. So in 9th grade now, we're looking at the NWA assessment, which is that norm reference assessment. So it's more in comparison to how students of their peers are doing versus assigning a grade level performance to the student. As a district with 9th grade reading, we're at 38% proficient, with 31% to 66% on the school ranges. 9th grade math, 29% proficient, with 28 to 51%. And 9th grade growth. And then with 9th grade NWA, they don't do 1 year long target, they do a target from fall to winter. So this is now looking at students that met their typical growth target for winter. NWA does not assign a growth target, but I did do an analysis just to see where students are at with exceeding that growth target, because if they're not exceeding those growth targets and they are below grade level, we're not going to get them to grade level. So percentage of students meeting their target by 50% or more is what I assigned to this. With 10th grade reading, 35% of students are meeting the grade level norm, and the schools range from 28 to 53%. 10th grade math, 29% of the students are meeting the grade level norm at a district level, the schools ranging from 22% to 47%. For 10th grade growth, we have both reading and math for the two schools. And then 11th grade reading. 35% of the students are meeting the grade level norm, with 27 to 58% of students on the school range. The district's at 23% for 11th grade math. The schools range from 13% to 53%. And 11th grade growth. And then 12th grade reading. The district as a whole is at 49% of students meeting their grade level target, or at their grade level norm. The schools range from 42% to 66%. 12th grade math. There we go. 12th grade math. The district's at 43% of the students meeting the norm. The schools range from 38% to 56%. And then the students meeting their typical growth target for the mid-year assessment. So throughout the year, the schools have presented what they're doing to support student learning and increase proficiency. From a department level, our math department is supporting teaching staff with building capacity around best practices so that students use mathematics in powerful ways across contexts. They're providing building leadership with support and monitoring the math lessons and providing feedback to teachers, the leadership labs, and some of those are still coming. Providing resource components that support the diverse group of students that we have, and looking at some new resources so that we can meet those needs of the students that we have. In literacy, in addition to training teachers on the resources and providing coaching, we're also very intentional about our focus on administering the core curriculum and those assessments that go along with that for progress monitoring. So between the fall, when the students take these NWA and I-rating assessments, and the winter, we have progress monitoring in place. And then also conducting more of the teacher and administrator labs to focus on the implementation of the resources that we're using. Utilizing teachers to deliver professional development to their peers, and making sure that teachers understand the science of reading and how reading is taught. Now more than ever, we're seeing students that need some of those foundational skills that are no longer just a K1-2 kind of thing. We've got students in fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade that still need some of those foundational skills. Our ESL department's continuing to explore new resources to help students and teachers communicate while students are increasing their own language acquisition. Offering teacher training to support English learners, even an AI session on how the EL teachers can work with the staff at the schools to help support the students. And many more things will come with our CNI department report in the future for our end of the year updates. So as I close, I hope that this has been informative.
Very.
And that as we move forward, we all recognize the work that has been put in. A lot of hard work has been put in. Nobody is negating that. But it's not enough. We need to do something different because our students deserve the best.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. All right, so let's start with my trustees. Who want to go first?
So good presentation when we think about typical growth. So what's happening, the problem that I have, we often wonder how do our students make it to 12th grade and they can't necessarily have the skills for being a productive citizen graduating. And we've seen cases that state, we have lawsuits, not necessarily our district, but we see it around the country, how students make it. And what's happening here is when we look at this typical growth, we're not assessing that here we are. Let me use the example five for grace. So we have a kid in 5th grade, but they come in 2 and 3 grades behind, okay? So yes, they're making their growth. The projected growth that she speaks of, they're making it, but where did I say that kid? That's 3rd grade. So they've made 50%, 70% of 3rd grade, but they're in 5th. So by the end of the year, we're sending them to 6th grade and they didn't even make it to 4th. So do you see how this goes? So when we look at this, we want to we love growth, but I would like you guys to switch from growth to achievement. Let's achieve and sustain, because without that, technically, we'll never reach proficiency. And that's why, that's the problem I'm having with the data that you bring. This is just
If we're only looking at typical growth, sure, but that's why I was very intentional to say, if we're not meeting the stretch growth targets, and that's why they give us the stretch growth targets.
The stretch growth, not interrupting Jennifer, to another Jennifer. The stretch growth is just saying we're hoping that you get a little further, but it's still not getting you to the grade level. So we're missing that when we present the data. And that's what I would love for you guys to start giving the parents the data. Some parents don't even realize that their child, they've been receiving A's and B's, but if you look at those test scores, they are in the red and have been in the red since kindergarten, because we're not disaggregating the data to these parents properly. So moving forward, good, they're making growth, yes, commend you, but we're not making achievement.
Thank you. I know we do this every year. And we talk about this every year, so I won't bombard you with the same question. However, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, when it comes to the testing that you're giving, in the beginning when they come in, this is information that they're not familiar with, right?
Yes.
And then you retest them on the same information for the winter.
Right.
Right, and then we'll have results for the spring.
Correct.
Do you have, then we need to make that clear. This is information that they didn't know when they came into school in the fall. And they're tested. And then they're retested again from that same information, right, in the winter. And then we retest them again in the spring, and we'll get those results in the spring. What I'm asking for is a comparison. Because I know you have it, because we did the same thing last year. A comparison of the numbers of the grades that you put up, like 6th grade math, 6th grade English, compared to last year with the numbers. So we can, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We can see the growth in there, what we're doing.
Yes.
And I like, and I just want to see it grade wise. I don't need you to go over this, all of this. Just give me the comparison from year to year where we are with the numbers that you have this year compared to the numbers we had last year pertaining to the grades and the subjects. You know what I mean? You know what I'm
Well,
asking for?
and also looking at cohorts, like what were last year's fifth graders doing as
Yes.
fifth graders,
The
and now
percentage-wise,
as
as I
sixth
say,
graders, are
The
we
district
seeing
is
that
at
growth?
13% in fifth grade. Where were they last year in fifth grade? Were they 12?
I have that as well as some information on students that have been with us for 1 year,
That's
2
what I
years,
was-
3 years. I have that as well.
Okay. I just want to see comparative numbers because then that gives me personally an indication where we are. Because last year, same thing took place. They gave information when they came to the fall that they didn't have, and they were retested, gave information, the same information. Get what I'm saying? I want to see the changes from year to year in those grades.
So it'll be another presentation after tonight's 46 pages.
I just give me an example.
Because I could have put a whole lot more in tonight, but.
No, you could have. You don't even have to do it here. I mean, you can send it to us electronically. And I just want to see it compared because I look at this stuff and when we get these board packets, and it's telling. But again, Trustee Dooley said it clearly. You said it. We got to do something different instead of doing the same thing and expecting different results. And some people say that's called insanity. I should have said it to you. So you can't keep doing the same old thing and expecting different results. And lastly, what are your concerns? What are your issues that's preventing you from getting these numbers higher? What can end? Lastly, what are your solutions? Yours. Not what you were told, but what you believe. And those are things that we can talk about in my school improvement committee meeting when we decide to have that.
Yes.
You will be invited to be able to discuss clearly, no repercussions.
Right.
I need to make that clear. No, I need to state that because people believe, out to get them. No, mine is, I need ideas. Because if one school is doing very well, then they should be able to say what they're doing to another school so they can do very well. And lastly, based on the numbers you see, let's make this clear. Buildings don't teach children. Teachers teach children. And from my look on there, every building was pretty much not where they should be, except some areas. We do. So I need to make that clear. So let's stop focusing on our things and focus on the children's things. And we'll be a better district. Thank you.
Thank you. Vicky Bowman?
Is there a way, because throughout the school year, students matriculate into the district, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so if someone is new to the district and they are coming in and getting tested, is there a way to track students that have been here the entire time? So we can see.
Yes. So, yes, and I do have that. I have students here, not even just for this year, but even done some cohort analysis on like students at 2 years, 3 years.
Okay, thank you.
The further piece that I would like to add to that though is, okay, that student was here for 3 years. Of that 3 years, how much of that time was in front of a certified teacher, or was there a lot of teacher change at that particular student's?
Good.
So those are some other things that I would like to add to it to present to you as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Over to my right. Comments?
Thank you for the data that you presented. I have a question. So for one school in particular, there was no growth in the first and second grade math, one school. So from what I'm hearing is that by the time this one child, let's say, gets to the third grade, they're at a kindergarten level in math. Is that accurate?
If they do not make it into that grade level, at or above grade level band by the end of the school year, then yes, they go to first grade performing at a kindergarten level.
But then in second, so one school, they were in kindergarten, then first grade, there was zero growth.
In second grade, there was zero growth in math particularly. So now we're at third grade. So this third grader is now, because they had no growth in first, no growth in second, they're in third grade, and now they're at a kindergarten level.
That's exactly the analysis that I'm talking about that I want to look at. Students that are here with us for the full time.
Okay.
And did we have a certified teacher in front of those students, or was it a particular grade level or a particular classroom that maybe they had 3 different teachers in that one year? And kind of look at those trends across the way as well.
And I would be interested in hearing those barriers so that we can collectively come up with solutions so that our kids are learning, so they're not continually getting more and more behind. Because the curriculum is taught throughout, the same curriculum is taught throughout all the schools, right? So if you're in kindergarten, no matter what school you're in, you're being taught. So it's astonishing to me to see that some schools are excelling and other schools being taught the same curriculum don't have any growth for a few years. So I would be interested to hear what the barriers are and what collectively what solutions we can come up with to kind of prevent that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Miller. Treasurer Taylor.
My question, in regards to as you give the percentages, just say for example, starting with the 6th grade, can we get, or is it safe to assume that I can add the percentages from the Pontiac Middle School and the ITA program and divide that by 2 to get the actual average of the 6th grade students? If they're all 6th grade.
No, that's what I gave you when you look at, so let me go back a little bit. Okay, so here's 6th grade. The district number is that combined ITA and Pontiac Middle School. ITA has significantly fewer students than Pontiac Middle School. So if you were to just average those 2 numbers, it would not be accurate. You have to have all the students averaged out together.
Well, okay, could you go down maybe 2 slides where you mentioned the percentage of students on track to meet typical growth?
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a difference between the students, or are they all 6th grade students?
They are all 6th grade students.
So can we get an average or I guess you want to say a percentage of all of the students, regardless
Like
if
the
they're in that
overall
program or
district.
not? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Jennifer, I know this is always a tough presentation to give because it's so heavy. But you know what? It's our reality. And so we can't shy away from it. We know what it is. And as we said before, we have a lot of work to do. And there's a lot of things that we as a district have to consider if we want to be better. So this right here was very telling. So whereas it was not favorable to see those numbers, I'm glad everybody saw it. So a couple of things stood out to me though when I saw it. One is just a reminder of the significance of our students' primary years. That K-5 education is so important. There are so many factors that could play into the percentages that we saw. But one of the things I think Trustee Gross had mentioned, and we've talked about being a problem with our district as it is across the country, is attendance. If our kids are not showing up to school, they cannot learn. And so what we saw here is that typically kids that start behind, they tend to stay behind. So just as Trustee Miller was making the point, if they're coming in at kindergarten, not proficient, and then they're moving on to 1st grade, still not proficient, then it continues. And it's hard when a child starts behind and then the expectation is that they catch up by the time they get to 9th grade, 10th grade, etc. But again, there's so many factors that play into that. And I just really want community to understand why it is important for our kids to be in school. Why we need parents to be engaged in their child's learning, because learning doesn't just happen in the classroom. It happens in the home. we should be working together to make sure the students are where they need to be, because the onus should not just be on a school, or the expectation is that a school is doing something better than another school is. We all have to work together and make sure make sure that we're addressing it, especially from the beginning, that K through 5. The other thing that stood out to me was, we talk about what the students learn when they come in the fall, and we saw that there was some growth that took place by winter semester. Well, that's an indication to me of the continuous learning. So again, when we talk about summer learning loss, it's real. Because when kids start in the fall, we see they forgot everything that you taught them the year before, and it shows in our percentages that we saw, right? So then when we look at from fall to winter, we saw, because they've been continuously learning, that there was some growth there. But again, the importance of summer school, which I'll share my announcement for later, but how important it is to keep your child engaged in educational activities over the summer, because summer melt is a real thing. So I wanted to just point that out and tell you, I know this is always a tough one. We kind of cringe when everybody, especially now that we got guests here, that they really see these numbers, but this is our reality. And so this is, again, why we say we got to do something different. And change, nobody likes change. It can be uncomfortable, but as we said, we cannot be okay with continuing to move forward and knowing that our kids are not progressing educationally as they should. So we have to step out there and say, what are we going to do different? And so I thank you for your presentation. And I know we'll continue the conversations to talk about solutions as to what we can do to make this better. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on down. Dr. Leverett, staff device refresh.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Hannah. At this time, I will turn it over. This is for discussion and action. This is the 2024-25 grant-funded devices and subscriptions. PSD administration is looking to purchase the following to implement in the 24-25 school year. Intercomp TSG, $28,780. CTE eSports student devices using a cooperative bid under MEMC. $12,443.84 for adult education student devices. $4,898, excuse me, for the CTE eSport classroom switch. And the potential for one, which is $26,000 for the CTE My Learner Wallet, which is a one-year subscription using sole source letter. The Learner Wallet serves as a digital hub for learners to securely oversee and retrieve their credentials and achievements by simplifying the credential management process. It encourages lifelong learning. It empowers learners to guide their educational path, boosting their credibility in the job market. The Learner Wallet goes beyond traditional badges and micro-credentials. It's verifiable, interactive, data-backed, secure, and represents growth. The Learner Wallet opens doors to endless opportunities, creating lifelong learners. And I have Jeff and Sydney, thank you. They're going to talk about the 2025 staff device refresh. And excuse me, one of these I read out of order. Let's back up a little bit. And I apologize. I'll start with Jeff and Sydney on the staff device refresh, and then we'll come back to this discussion and action. My apologies, Jeff.
Thanks, Dr. Leverett. I know you got excited about those other two. This isn't quite as exciting, but we'll try to make it a little entertaining. Thanks for having us tonight. We are excited to present the 2025 staff device refresh. Say that fast on St. Patrick's Day. Impossible. I'm going to turn it over to Sydney. She's going to walk you through just a real quick overview of the process that we use and why we selected this particular device. And then I'll be available to answer any other further questions. This is part of our normal bond refresh cycle that happens every 5 years. We hope to get 5 years out of our staff devices with laptops. Sometimes we can go 5.5, sometimes we have to go 3.5. Just kind of depends on the breakage and the wear and tear and the advancements in technology. But we're right on track for 5 years this month. So Sydney, it's all yours.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
So we are just gonna kind of talk about the refresh process that we kind of go through. So we are currently on a 5-year refresh cycle. We purchased our last devices during the COVID era of 2020. So we are coming up on that 5 years. Devices, the lifespan is usually 3 to 5 years because that's when you start seeing the decline in devices, port damage, battery damage, screen damage. We start seeing more repairs being needed, more time spent, more money spent on repairing devices that are really close to end of life. So a little bit of information on our current devices that we have. 8 gigs of RAM, a normal i5 processor, 15-inch screen. They do have the number pad incorporated, which a lot of staff really enjoy. It's a heavier device, almost 5 pounds. And overall, we've polled the staff and they have been quite happy with the devices that we have been providing for them. So we did send out a device survey to all staff in the district. We sent it out February 17th. We asked for them to fill it out by the 28th of February. So we gave them about 2 weeks to get that filled out. Got back 165 responses. So of that, we asked a handful of questions. Preferred operating system, Windows was the majority. Screen size, the majority of them also said they really enjoy the larger screen, the 16 inches. Touchscreen would also be a benefit and a preference for them. Same with a backlit keyboard. So if they're in a dark space, they're showing a video, their keyboard will still be illuminated, so they would be able to type on that, as well as having the 10-key integrated keypad. And then we did ask, does your current device meet performance and speed for day-to-day job function? 59 people said no. So we took that a step further and we asked, what wasn't meeting their needs, what wasn't working out for them, and how could we improve? So the next few slides are their direct responses. A lot of hardware issues that we're seeing, camera failures, keys not working, port issues, trackpad failures, stuff like that. So these are things that we're kind of trying to have to repair on the fly because we don't have a lot of spare devices to be providing the staff. So we are purchasing all of these parts to try and get our staff back up and running. Next issues they're seeing are a lot of battery issues, unfortunately. Kind of the same thing. Devices last 3 to 5 years, and we're really pushing that 5-year mark with these. So we're seeing a lot of them, as soon as they unplug, the whole device just shuts off. So battery's not holding a charge, the port's not working on it. They have to constantly have it plugged in, or they can unplug it for a split second, move it to a new classroom, and have to plug it right back in really quickly. So we're seeing a lot of battery issues. Same thing next is slow performance. Things are just kind of bogging down. The longer you use a device, the more gets stored on it, the more you have to. Perfect, thank you. Everything's moving slowly. Struggling with tasks, software's not moving fast enough, everything is just kind of bogging down, essentially. So we have, from the poll that we took, we decided on a device that we would like to purchase. It is an HP. It's a 16-inch touchscreen with a backlit keyboard. If you go to the next, perfect, it'll show you this is what we have compared to what we're going to. So we're going to get a little bit more RAM for a faster processing speed for our staff. Same size hard drive because a lot of our applications are web-based. And a little bit updated of a processor, a little bit larger of a screen, and it's touch screen. And then the overall weight of the device has gone down, better camera, and a better microphone.
All right, thank you. Trustees, any questions? Trustee Miller?
Thank you for explaining that. Any of the funds that you request, is it covered by grants or any supplemental funds, or does it have to come out of?
It comes out of the bond fund. So if you recall, when we brought the last proposal back, we have X dollars allocated for technology related items. This is within that pool of allocation.
Anything else? All right, thank you very much.
Thanks. Dr. Leverett, would you like to stay for the CTE stuff? Diane?
Yes. Is he in? Hi, Diane. All right.
Good afternoon, or good evening.
Good evening.
My name is real quick up there that with regards to 24-25 grant funded devices and subscriptions. We're PSD administration is looking to purchase the following to implement this 24-25 school year. From the vendor named Intercom TSG, we have 3 items. One is $28,780 for CTE esports student devices. That is to support the esport pathway that we have in our CTE program. We also have $12,443.84 for student devices within our adult education program, and $4,898 for a switch within the esports classroom within the CTE pathway.
You want me to elaborate on that a little bit? So the devices that we're getting for the esports class is going to be a laptop cart, and it's going to be those are the same devices that we'll be using with the instructional staff. However, we added what we call accidental damage to those because they're going to be in the hands of students. So instead of our traditional 1-year warranty where we kind of self-insure our staff devices and buy a few spares in there to cover that, our student devices, because kids aren't quite as gentle all the time as adults, we got the accidental damage on those. So that gives us 3 years of warranty against screen breakage, keyboard damage, stuff like that. So we try to minimize the downtime of that. We're also, as part of the esports program grows and evolves, the teacher, Ms. Welch Johnson, teaches computer programming, some other classes. So this will be able to go between the 2 classes, so she can move students from, right now it'd be 19 and be 20. So the students with a laptop could come in, work in the esports room, work on marketing, communication, all the different components outside of gaming, while the teacher's in the one room, instead of having to manage 2 rooms. If we had a lab, a traditional lab of PCs in the B19, it'd be hard to manage 2 instructional spaces. So that's why we went with the laptops. And then for adult ed and working with Ms. Cindy Clark Franklin, she wanted to replace her 6-year-old laptops, at least 6 years old, with Chromebooks. And we went with a 14-inch Chromebook because they're a little bit more of adult learners. And that will be dedicated to adult. And the switch is just the back end, like we talked about before, the back end infrastructure to connect all the devices in those 2 rooms. We need to expand the capacity to wire up those esports gaming machines.
All right, questions, trustees? Trustee Grover.
Thank you. As pertains to both discussion items, what happens to the old devices?
The adult ed are probably getting beyond useful life. Those won't upgrade. So we'll recycle those through an authorized provider. Sometimes if there's any monetary value, they'll give us a small check back. But a lot of times they're not charging us to dispose of it. As you can be well aware, it's getting a little harder to dispose of things. With the staff devices, we're going to take the usable ones. After some time, once we get all the new staff devices rolled out, we'll wipe them clean and use those for what we would say would be unallocated. So we may be able to handle our sub-staff a little better and more intentional, and then we'll have a pool of usable devices should a staff member break or we have to add staff members. So.
Right, because I didn't want the public to think we're just throwing them away.
Nope.
Now, we do recycle as well as the Chromebooks that we use with our students. We purchase new updated versions for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Trustee Miller?
I see here that the funding source, it has two grant funding sources and then the general fund. Do you have a breakdown of what is covered by the grant and then what needs to be covered by the general fund?
So all the items, the potential for one is under Balmer grant. The adult education student devices is under section 107. And then the CTE sports classroom switch is 100% Balmer grant. CTE esports student devices are partially Balmer and partially general fund.
Good? No?
Do you have like a number? Just for clarity. I know you said partial, but like, are we saying like half of it will be covered and then half going to the general fund? A rough amount, please. Thank you.
Sure. Out of the $72,121.84, for approximately 14,400 will go to the general fund.
Good? Okay. All right, thank you. Treasurer Terry?
You kind of answered my first question. Thank you. My second question I did have though, reviewing the subscription. Are we only doing 1 year or is this going to be a 3 year?
So right now, it's only 1 year, and then we are able to renew for a lesser amount, I believe, for second year, third year.
You good? All right, so now moving on down to action items. For action item A, approval of staff device refresh. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support. It's been moved by trustee Gross, supported by VP Bowman for the approval of the staff device refresh. Any questions?
Just to be, yes.
Yes.
Fine. So all of it, the entire amount is covered under the bond, 284,000. Okay, thank you.
All right, roll call, please.
President Hannah,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Treasurer Terry,
Yes.
VP Bowman,
Yes.
Trustee Wu,
Yeah.
and Trustee Rowe.
Yes.
That passes 6-1.
All right, thank you. Next action item, approval of the 2024-2025 grant funded devices subscription. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by VP Bowman, supported by trustee Gross for the approval of the 2024-2025 grant funded device subscription. Any questions? Yes, trustee
It's not really a question, it's a comment and a concern.
Okay.
I would feel more comfortable if we can break this down instead of lumping in all in one lump sum. If we can break it down to where we vote on what's grant approved and then we vote on what has to go into the general fund. So that I would feel more comfortable if I knew when we were voting on was grant approved, which would be a dead giveaway for me to vote on that because we have the money. But things that are going into general fund, I would like just some more information about that before I can support it, instead of having it all together. Am I making myself happy?
No, that's fine. Any point? Yes.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. But ultimately, it's just the same vote because you'll get the information. You're not changing how it's given because we're still approval. It wouldn't make any, I don't want to sound disrespectful or anything, but to separate it because we're still looking at, you're not going to vote two different parts because it goes together. You don't want to do that. I'm just saying, but I understand what you're saying because specific amounts are coming from specific areas that you could have concern with. However, if we vote on it as it is, or separate, it's still coming from the same pot that we're voting. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not gonna change anything, but a motion would have to be made to actually separate that or a new mayor indicating that. And that would push it over to another meeting, completion of another mayor based on this amount of where it's actually coming from. And I agree with you because when I saw that, it said specifically from the two different fiduciary areas, but not the amount of what it is, but when she said the 14,000, because it's gonna have to come from there anyway, because those grants aren't gonna cover that portion.
Yeah.
Right, so you would have to go to another meeting with a new pair indicating the amount. Now, if you decide to do that, if that takes a vote, a motion to do so, but.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
See, I'm right, see?
And if I can just add too, I think what we can do going forward is just ask for more clarity, because she did indicate the funding source, but they just didn't allocate what, funds would go into which, will come from each funding source. So I think going forward, we'll just ask administration to provide more clarity for
And I question that too, but you're right, you're right.
that. Okay, yes, trustee, yes, trustee Dooley.
Can we, set this aside until, because I was promised the opportunity to ask questions and meet, and I've yet to meet with anyone regarding our budget. So is there any way we can just hold on, or do we need to proceed with this vote because it's a matter of time?
Well, I don't think it's where is Jeff? He stepped out. I don't know that it's a matter of time, but the question, I mean, you would have to put a motion on the floor to table it, but I think because again, they gave us, I understand you had specific questions because you wanted to talk to them about the budget. Yeah, but I think for the rest of us, I think we're comfortable with things moving forward. Yes. Treasurer Terry.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but just for another point of clarity, if I'm correct, there should be a budget already established with the CTE program within the general fund, or do they not have their own funding like set aside?
I'm talking about this particular.
Yes.
Well, this is coming out of technology, coming out of CTE is a separate program that's
Okay.
in the grant.
So it'll be coming out of the technology fund.
Yeah.
Which part, what you talking about?
So there should be money already allocated. If I'm
In the
correct.
general fund. June.
Did you? So any other comments or questions? Because we still have a motion on the floor. We're ready for the vote. Okay, thank you. Please move forward. Trustee Miller?
No.
Trustee Terry?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm voting yes. Trustee Dooley?
No.
Trustee Gross?
Yes.
And President Hannah? Yes. That passes five. All right, thank you very much. Continuing on our agenda, we're under curriculum and instruction. Dr. Leverett, the meeting is yours.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Hannah. It is that time of year for robotics. As you know, we have a wonderful robotics team, and at this time, I will turn it over to Dr. Devison, who will discuss and seek action on the Pontiac Middle School overnight field trip to Washington, D.C., the robotics overnight field trip to the First World Championship. Dr. Devison.
Good evening. So I wanted to give the Pontiac Middle School field trip to Washington, D.C. The background and rationale. Students will experience history by exploring various historical sites, which they will read about which they have read about from elementary to secondary curriculum. They will visit the Smithsonian Institute, Capitol Hill, White House, multiple memorial sites, and meet state representatives. They will also tour Howard University. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education approve the Pontiac Middle School overnight field trip to Washington, D.C. for May 15th through May 18th for 2005 for an academic and cultural experience. And you do have the packet with all of the details in the packet.
Any questions, comments, trustees? Yes, Treasurer Terry.
I noticed the funding source you have listed as NA. Does that mean this is a free trip?
It's not a free trip, but it doesn't cost the district any money. So the students were funded or they're having donors. So it's not a cost to the district.
This is more of like a grant then, I'm assuming?
No, definitely not a grant.
Donations?
No, donations or by the parent.
Yes, Trustee Miller.
I was excited to see this on the agenda, and the information provided. My son did this, in the 8th grade, so it's a couple years ago. Will you make this an annual thing?
So this is from the middle school. I'm not sure. I know that they went on a trip before, so I can't say that they would do it annually. I'm hopeful, but.
That might be my only recommendation, because when you get to the 6th grade, the 6th graders know that by the time they get to the 8th grade, they meet the requirements, they're going to Washington DC. So it's something to look forward to as they progress with their education.
Yes.
That's all.
Any other comment?
I just want to make sure, Dr. Jefferson, for some of the students that may not be financially able, do we have something in place to support them if they go away from home and not?
I will check with the school, but I do believe that they have that all taken care of. For the students who are selected, they will be funded and they will be able to attend.
Good. Just, our kids will go away and won't have their money to eat.
Trustee Gross?
Yes, thank you. To just tag on Trustee Miller. Yes, this was traditionally part of the Pontiac School District, because even way back in the day when I was in the 8th grade, like 10 years ago, I and my brother, who was in 8th grade 9 years ago, we both attended Washington DC as an entire middle school. And the hope is to not just particular ones who are able to pay, the parents able to do so, but actually make the same. This has happened years before, prior to Dr. Jefferson being in her position, that we've done Washington DC, right, Dr. Legret? We've done DC before, and we've approved it. And it's good that it's nothing coming financially, but we don't want financial difficulties that hinder a child to gain that experience. That we could actually discuss and talk with teachers and parents and see what we can do to ensure that all children can have this experience. Because we used to do it, and it was okay. So let's get back to the business of our children and getting this thing done, so every child can be part of this and not just select the ones who are able.
All right, welcome. Yes, I'm excited that Dr. Robinson and Ms. Rush are putting in the work to make this happen for our students. They did give us a list of students, and I'm not sure if that list is only based off of those that may have the financial resources to go. So I'm hoping that there's something we can do, solicit donations so that we can ensure that even more kids go, because the list was kind of minimal. But if we can make this an offering for more students at Pontiac Middle School, I think they would really appreciate it. So we'll follow up with them, but I'm glad to see it return.
Thank you. Moving on to the Pontiac Robotics First World Championship Competition. Background rationale first inspires young people to be science and technology leaders and innovators by engaging them in exciting mentor-based programs that build science, engineering, and technology skills that inspires innovation and that fosters well-rounded life capabilities, including self-confidence, communication, and leadership. Our robotics team is excited to take our skills and leadership to the state championship and compete on this level. It says NA but they have donors, so it's not grant funded, but they do have donors for this trip. And it is our recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education approve the Pontiac Robotics team to attend the First World Championship Competition in Houston, Texas, April 15th through the 20th, 2025.
Thank you. Trustees, any comments, questions?
I think this is one of the better programs that we have, the robotics. In fact, I was part of the first team. Many of you will remember the late Joanne Battle. She also was on that team. So I have a personal love for this one. So definitely you have my support on this one.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All right.
I have another, this is the last one. Pontiac Robotics team attendance at Saginaw Valley University, and it's the first for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. Is a nonprofit organization dedicated to inspiring young people to become science and technology leaders by engaging them in mentor-based robotics programs that build STEM skills, foster innovation, and develop leadership qualities. Our robotics team has existed since 1996. It is designed to be led by a combination of educators and engineers. The engineers on our team are former students, team members who have chosen to return to the team as members to share with the next generation, and the account numbers are attached. And this is for robotics specifically, it's not coming out of general funds. And the recommendation, it is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education approve the Pontiac robotics team to travel to Saginaw Valley, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025.
All right, thank you. Any comments from the board?
Yes.
Yes, trustee Gross.
I don't know if the community is aware that Pontiac Central is in the Robotics Hall of Fame. Reiterate that Pontiac Central is in I agree, Pontiac Northern is too. However, Pontiac Central was the first robotics team in the state of Michigan to be placed into the Robotics Hall of Fame. And the reason I'm saying this is I had the opportunity many years ago, back in 2004, to actually watch a robotics competition when both schools combined in Atlanta. And you talking about something excellent to see, and how well our children, not only how well they did in the competition, but how well they behaved at the competition. And so this is something that I do want us to continue annually, because it means a lot. And I know a lot of our ITA students are part of this, because we actually get a facility over there for a competition, so where they can train as well. So let's continue to promote this, promote, present, approve. Promote, present, approve. Y'all got that?
Yes.
Dr. Leverett, you got that?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Treasurer Terry.
For this one, I know you got listed 2 accounts. My only concern is I don't have an amount. And that's my biggest concern, because I don't want to approve something that doesn't have an amount or not to exceed amount, and it's kind of like giving a blank check.
Oh, on there.
Yeah.
Is that something that can be reviewed or maybe brought back, or?
So I was just gonna say, listed in the packet, it says that the total is 4,950. I can change the beer and include the amount.
Now, is that just for transportation?
Yes, that is
So that's what I was looking for, the total amount.
Okay, we have the numbers located on there, but what I'll do is change the beer for us and make sure that I correct the amount, because it's listed each one out, but so the hotel says 5,000, so it's not specific, so I do need to correct that for us.
All right, thank you.
Point of order?
Trustee Gross.
How soon does this have to be approved?
Well, this one was brought to us today, and because it's due on April 2nd, so sooner than later.
And the reason why I asked is that I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Seegers, we cannot approve this without a appropriate bear with numbers. If being asked to approve, you have to, because there's no more board, there's not another board meeting until after.
I'll do the beer right now and come right back.
Totaling of the amount.
Just adding the totals.
That's fine, you can do that, because there's nothing scheduled, because spring break is next week. Right, so if this needs to get done immediately, it'll be.
And that won't be until.
Yeah, 2 weeks. April 4th, April 2nd. No, April 7th or 8th, yeah, because I'm so, Madam Chair, or just approve, ask for approval of the first two, and then if this is not complete.
Yes, we can start with approving of the first two items, and then by the time we get to it. All
So
right,
that one's complete.
let's do that. So let's go ahead and do the approval, if I can get a motion for the approval of Pontiac Middle School overnight field trip to Washington DC.
Support.
It's been moved by trustee Dooley, supported by VP Bowman, for the approval of Pontiac Middle School overnight field trip to Washington DC. Any questions? Roll call. Treasurer Terry,
Yes.
VP Bowman,
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Dooley,
Yes.
trustee Gross,
Yes.
President Hannah. Yes. And trustee Miller.
Yes.
That passes 7-0, sorry. All right, thank you. Next, if I can get a motion for the approval of robotics overnight field trip first world championship competition in Houston, Texas.
So moved.
It's been moved by trustee Gross, supported by trustee Dooley, for the approval of robotics overnight field trip first world championship competition in Houston, Texas. Any questions? Roll call. VP Bowman,
Yes.
voting yes. Trustee Dooley,
Yes.
trustee Gross.
Yes.
President Hannah. Yes. Trustee Miller.
Yes.
And Treasurer Taylor.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Okay. Maybe I should have talked a little slower. She's not back yet. All right, give us just a couple of minutes so that she can total up the cost for the Pontiac robotics team attendance at Saginaw Valley University. That's why we're gonna move on. We'll move on to our communications, petitions, and delegations while we wait for Dr. Devison to come back with the final one. So VP Bowman.
Pontiac Board of Education, Communications, Delegations, and Petitions. Your request to address the Pontiac Board of Education for 3 minutes is granted with your commitment that all comments will be delivered with courtesy and civility. Failure to do so will result in forfeiture of your allotted time. First up, we have Mr. Marcus Bowman.
Good evening to all. Good evening to the board members, good evening to the administration, all those in attendance, and good evening to those watching at home. My name is Marcus Bowman. I'm here on behalf of MIP 100, just to make a public address to all those who are concerned with the decisions that are being made on behalf of our students. I'm here to point out a few things that we need to keep in mind as a community. Those advocating for our kids to get the best opportunity, the best outlook possible for this community. I think we need to look at the fact that the divisiveness us as adults are doing with this situation, we're pitting one group of kids against the other. It's not right. Last I checked, we're all one Pontiac. Those children are all the same children that we all want to love and care and nurture and bring a better opportunity, a better future for. This board has been entrusted with, again, the number one resource that we have, and they've been entrusted to bring us into the future. Our number one resource is our children. That is our future. So us dividing them, and some of these children live on the same street, and one feel that they're better than the other because somebody said that they're smarter, and one other group of kids are thugs and hoodlums. It's not fair. It's not right. And I think that's something that we need to stop in this community. We need to stop overall. We got to start putting trust and faith in the people that have been elected to run our community, as well as we need cooperation, collaboration through joint efforts from the advocates to create solutions, solution-based issues instead of complaints. I think this board is willing and open to listen to anybody. As a spouse to one of the trustees, I've seen her get calls at, odd hours of the night. And she addresses the issues right then and there. So there is not anybody that can tell me that anybody on this board doesn't have an open door policy and that this administration isn't doing everything in their power. Now, we need to address a lot of other issues based off of teachers that are teaching in this community that don't really want to be here or don't have the passion or the bandwidth to deal with our children based off of the issue, the trauma that they are dealing with at home. So we have to address things on a higher level, even when it comes to the unions, protecting these issues from our kids getting the best opportunity possible. So I'm just addressing everybody to keep in mind that all of the issues that go on don't stop and start with this board. It stops and starts with this community. And we have to be strong enough to make the sacrifices, have the vision, and be able to see it through and have the courage to see it through for the future of our children. So I thank you all for hearing me out. I ask you to just consider this and continue to pray for this board. God bless you all and God bless you.
Well, I gotta go over there.
Yes, sir.
This parent has concern. My daughter came up crying about, she got ITA, so I didn't know what to tell her. So I just can't get such the answers. What's going on? That's it. I want to know, is it closing? Why is she terrified to go to high school? So can y'all help me? That's it, honestly. Are the teachers, is it closing? Like, is this comments or y'all gonna give me answers?
Yeah.
How does it work?
It is just comments.
Okay, well, community, can y'all tell me something? Maybe after this or whatever. Some of y'all got my number. She wants to go Cass, Bloomfield, Avondale. I want her to stay right here. So tell me something. Thank you.
Nicole Harris. Good evening, Pontiac School District Board of Education. Thank you for allowing me 3 minutes. In light of everything that's transforming, I wanted to come with some of my staff from Peace Academy, just to say thank you. And we appreciate the fact that we are included in the reimagining plan. It has been something that we are looking forward to because of the safety concerns where our school is located. A few years back, I was approached by people from the board and the superintendent who are no longer here in hopes of getting a brand new building. That did not follow through. So with the reimagining, we are looking forward to a new location for the families, for the staff, and for the littlest Phoenixes. So again, we appreciate you taking that into consideration. I also just want to comment, I've been in the district for 28 years now. In those 28 years, I have seen a lot of change. There have been a lot of roller coaster rides. And the one thing that I can say is that in the end, the Pontiac School District always makes the right decision for the kids. And we always rise above everything that we have faced. And so with that, I say thank you again, and thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Ebony Sims.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ebony Sims, and I have been a resident, a mother of 3 children that has attended and is attending Pontiac School /ITA. I am here tonight to speak on behalf of my 10th grader that attends ITA. I am concerned as a mother, employee, and a resident of the Pontiac community. Over the years, as a parent and a district employee of 28 years, these professional teachers have left impressions, knowledge, and personal impacts on my 3 children. It is with great harmony that I must celebrate these professional teachers of ITA. Ms. Williams, rest in peace. Ms. Bernard, Ms. Natoski, Ms. Kramer, Ms. Goddard, Ms. Gosh, Dr. Powell, Mr. Erickson, Ms. Calloway, Mr. Bellin, and Mr. Huber. Without these professional, without these professional teachers enhancing the lives of my 3 children, the School of ITA, and the Pontiac community, my children's lives will not have been as successful as they are today. Therefore, I want to make sure my voice is heard before a final vote is taken that will impact my children, teachers, and the Pontiac community. I desire to continue to be a strong voice for my children, the Pontiac School District, and more importantly, the special ed department. Please hear me and reconsider your previous thoughts and plans that have been shared with the students, employees, and community members. I strongly suggest and am approached daily by parents, members of Accent Pontiac. These large decisions have affected the community more than what you are hearing tonight. Please reconsider past decisions. I appreciate your time, hard work, and dedication to all members and affiliates with the Pontiac School District. I'm not done yet. Last but not least, I would like to reference the countless co-workers, employees of the PSD. Many of us work multiple jobs, so I know the reason that we have stayed in the district is not about the quote-unquote money. The staff of PSD, they come tireless, shows up and shows out for each and every student in our district. If that does not show you true passion, then I am not sure what does. Thank you and have a great evening.
Candace Ridley.
Good evening. Good evening. I come before you tonight with appreciation. Our community, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming out. It's late, it's been a long day, but here you are. Coming out to stand up for your children, our community and our schools. Staff, thank you for coming out. It's been a long day. We've been teaching, we've been supporting these children whom we love. That's why we do what we do. Definitely not for the money, but for the love for the kids. So thank you for coming out and staying late and being here. Board trustees, thank you for pausing and listening to the members of the community, the people who you were elected to serve. It is appreciated that you're taking a moment to hear from all of us. Thank you.
I'll pause for public comments so we can do our vote and we'll resume.
All right, thank you. All right. The final order of business is the approval of the Pontiac Robotics team attendance at Saginaw Valley University. And did we get want to provide us with the total amount?
So the cost was in the packet, but I appreciate you indicating to put it on the there. So for the first account, it's $5,000, and for the second account, it's $14,950.
All right. So now if I can get a motion for the approval of the Pontiac Robotics team attendance at Saginaw Valley University.
So moved.
Support. It's been moved by trustee Gross, supported by VP Bowman for the approval of the Pontiac Robotics team attendance at Saginaw Valley University. Any questions? Roll call, please.
I'm voting yes. Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Trustee Gross.
Yes.
President Hannah.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
VP Bowman.
Yes.
That passes 7-0.
All right, thank you very much. And now we'll continue on with our comments.
We have next Mr. Fred McFadden.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
Madam Superintendent, Madam President.
Good evening.
President Hannah, I want to repeat 3 questions I asked you 2 weeks ago. And if you would, please submit an email to myself and to President Ridley of the answers to these questions, and I'll ask it again. And then the simplest question that could be answered on July 25th, 24, why was Dr. Weatherspoon brought in? Question 2, did you know him before you brought him in? And question 3, did you vet him? I would so much appreciate if you will give that answer to us, President, so we can have a clear-cut understanding what is his role here. These listening sessions that I've heard about, you could sure save $81,000 if you just find some social workers or something to come and have a meeting with staff. Staff is willing to have a conversation. You guys don't want to have a conversation with the staff. And Mr. Bowman, I appreciate your comments. I respect it very highly. And I've been speaking about divisiveness for the last 10 years. We are still divided, sir. And until we come together, and first of all, let me say thank you to the community that is coming out and they're hearing us. And the reason being is that it took 2 local presidents to start sending out the message, to come to a board meeting and hear what's being said. All we ask is to be included in the conversation. Don't be upset because we're here expressing ourselves. Just hear us, and then let's talk. Because the last time I used the word meeting and I was told, we're in violation of the Open Meetings Act. So I say, let's have a conversation. This is Yak Town. We talk about Central and Northern. We talk about the Chiefs and the Huskies all day. But we need to come together because now we are all Phoenix. And all we want to do is have a fair conversation, listen to the teachers, listen to all staff. If we mean anything to you, then that's not a difficult request. So again, Madam President, I ask for your email or a phone call. And Madam Superintendent, I'll take it from you as well. So I thank you all. And again, to the community, thank you so much for listening to the little people to bring you out to this board meeting where big decisions are being made. And now you are now included. Thank you very much.
Elena Nance. Paul Sandy.
We have a say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard something.
We go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, they got it.
Okay. My name is Paul Sandy, and I'm a social studies teacher at ITA, as well as the vice president of the PEA Teachers Union. We're here tonight to advocate for the many teachers, staff, students, and parents of the district that have reached out to our members, confused at a possible restructuring plan, confused about listening sessions led by a consultant, confused at why programs like ITA and ILA that keep students in the Pontiac School District might be moved around, confused at why elementary communities may be broken up. Instead of a disruptive restructuring plan, we want to focus on other changes, bringing more students back to the district from charters and other school districts. We want to encourage certified teachers to come and stay in the Pontiac School District. We want to select a literacy curriculum that will improve student literacy rates and graduation rates, and will spur excitement to learn with our students. We have reached out in the past, and we need to reach out again. Please work with us. We say to these test scores, let's look at new curriculum ideas, which we have proposed before. We believe in smaller class sizes for all students, and that is something we have worked towards in the past, and it's something we would love to work on. That is a very research-based solution to lower student achievement and teacher burnout, student burnout, and parents choosing other schools besides the Pontiac School District. We also believe in more parent and community involvement to decision-making. So that's all I have for today. Thank you.
And the last speaker we have is Melanie Oliveira Martinez.
Hi, good evening. My name is Melanie Oliveira Martinez, and I'm here to speak about my concerns regarding the closure of the ITA program. I have attended the Pontiac School District since preschool. I went to Peace Academy for preschool, then transferred into ILA for kindergarten. I attended ILA program through my elementary years, then transitioned to ITA in 6th grade, which was a smooth transition since both programs are in the same building. And I'm very concerned because this is the foundation of my education, and I would like to continue my education and graduate from the ITA program. The ITA program has helped me build my confidence because of the support of the staff and the family environment. I have studied hard to maintain my high GPA. I am worried about what is going on in the middle and high school regarding fights and other conflicts. I feel safe and supported by my IT and ILA family. If the program I attend is closed, I would feel lost without my school, family support, and friends who will relocate to other districts and will lose contact with them. This will change my entire future. I don't understand why these programs need to be closed if we're excelling and it has been part of the district for more than 13 years. My mom is happy with the ITA program because it is preparing me for success, but she is not worried about what my high school years will look like. Please take into consideration the thoughts of the parents, the staff, and us, the students in the two programs at risk. Thank you.
Thank you. I signed and typed it in. When it was on the here to come in, it's probably not on the sheet. Because I didn't get a chance to speak the first day, but I came sure to speak on the 17th.
What's your name?
Lakita Holmes. I just want 3 minutes. I'm just gonna be less than 3 minutes.
Ms. Lakita Holmes.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm just here on behalf of my two students. They go to ITA. I think one of the most heartbreaking things that I heard on that meeting on March 3rd is, and it's so heartbreaking, when I'm hearing people talking to us as parents like our experiences aren't real. It is so heartbreaking, it's so dismissive from some of the school board members and people that are in charge. Like what I'm experiencing with my students aren't real. My son has not had one time any social issues at ITA. He's got several full scholarships. He's got the Evans Scholarship. He's in robotics for 4 years. He's never had any social issues about people trying to fight him. The school is for like-minded students that have the same goals. Every student is not the same. That doesn't mean a student is bad or good, but every student is not there to learn. Some of them are there to be disruptors. Sorry, I'm a parent and I know that. I've been here all my life. I'm 48, I've been here all my life. In all the Pontiac schools. Every student is not there to learn. And I want my child in a like-minded setting where they are able to excel. They have been excelling. And that's all I want to say. Don't make me feel like my experiences aren't real. This is scary to me.
And I will have to pull my child out of the school if this school closes. This school is a blessing. I'm just praying in Jesus' name that it doesn't close. Thank you.
All right, let's start with our board comments. Let's start with Trustee Dooley. Trustee Miller.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening to all of our guests here in the crowd. Good evening to everyone that's watching from home. I would like to first give a thank you to Ms. Monroe over at Peace Academy for allowing me to come in and read The Cat in the Hat. I'm sorry, I didn't read that. I read Green Eggs and Ham. I read Green Eggs and Ham to those babies, and it was, it was just such a joyful experience for me. I want to speak about my experience with Pontiac for a second. Being that I'm not from here, I was told what Pontiac was and what it was about. And then my son asked me specifically, could he go to Pontiac High School? And he did in August. And as a community, it's disappointing that as an outsider, I speak more highly about Pontiac and what Pontiac High School has to offer than I received as a parent here, as a community member here in Pontiac. And I asked all of our community, these are all of our students, whether they're ITA, Pontiac High School, and all of the schools that we have here. Let's change the narrative of what people think about Pontiac in general. My son has excelled at Pontiac High School. Okay, he has excelled athletically, with his grades, socially, the way that how receptive the coaches, the teachers, the principal, people just wrap their arms around him, and he had not been to any Pontiac school district ever. That's my experience as a parent, and I will always be grateful for that to all the staff and administrators at Pontiac High School. Let's change the narrative. Let's change the narrative so people can stop saying bad things about Pontiac. Let's all work collectively together for our kids, because that's really what it's about. A lot of teachers that came today, they're not here for the money. I see, as a parent, I see what these teachers do in the classroom, the time they put in, the efforts they put in for our students, and they do it because they care about our Black and brown students, okay? They care about them. Let's work collectively together to change the narrative. Let's work collectively together to develop some solutions so that we can take Pontiac further. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Davis-Smith.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out, everyone. I feel the same as Trustee Miller because all my children and stepchildren came from this district. My children, my stepson, actually played for Minnesota Vikings, and he has a degree. Yes, sir. And he has a degree from his college as well. My youngest has a degree in from OU, and this is where he's from. I always support my teachers because if our teachers and staff, because if they're not healthy in a great space, then they can't teach our children. And I know a lot of teachers and staff members. I was a bus driver for this district, and I know a lot of bus drivers that went beyond buying clothes, doing hair, making sure that the kids are being fed, and it's the same as our teachers and our other staff members, the food service, and I mean everyone. That's why I say I feel like this is a family because we all come together to make sure that our children are good and healthy and safe. And so we don't dismiss what our staff is saying about the decisions that we're making. And I'm glad that you guys are speaking out because we have to hear your voice in order to know. We can't speak for you unless you let us know how you feel. I'm grateful for our students that's actually coming out and speaking because, like I say, I'm the voice of our children, but I'm the voice of all the children in the district. Honestly, all the children in our city. I give of myself to others more than I do for myself. That's why I've been sick lately, is because I'm busy making sure everyone else is okay except for me. not just monetarily, but just I help in any way that I can. And I just want you guys to know that your opinions mean everything to us, not just me, but I heard the sentiments of all my board members, and we all feel the same, is that what you guys want is important to us, but it's just the decisions of higher up as well that we have to consider. Because we don't know what our president got really in store for us. We already heard, I mean, everybody done heard he didn't cut our budget in half, so we have to make decisions that is gonna be hard for us. So we're not saying we're you know, they just gave us information. It's not saying that those are the things that we're going to have to do, but just reading some of the things that we got, we don't know what's actually happening. But I'm glad that we're sticking together and we're coming together as one. And I hope that you guys continue to come, continue to let us know your thoughts and feelings, especially our children, because the decisions that we're making for them. And I'm glad that they're actually speaking out and saying what they want for themselves. So that's all I really have to say. Oh, no. I really enjoyed the presentation for with the OU piece and the Junior Optimist Club. And also congratulations to Aaron, Maria, and William as well. I'm so proud of them. And I've been wanting us to have a daycare here because as a parent, I saw, and as a bus driver, I saw that our children were missing school. Our older siblings was missing school to make sure that their younger siblings were getting off to school. So I hope that we're able to change that because that will change the attendance, that will change the academics, and it will give support to parents. So thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Mr. Terry?
Good evening. I'll make this one short. Just run down on this real quick. First off, just want to say congratulations again to the community students in recognition in honor of the Down Syndrome Month. Continue the good work and continue to be that example and that role model out there for the other peers. I want to say thank you again also for the reports that we did receive. One from OU, the past presentation, and also the benchmark assessment. Obviously, just reviewing the benchmark numbers, we all know that we need work to be done, but we have to do that together. It can be done individually, but we all need to work together to make those changes, to make those improvements on the grades. And then also, I just want to say good reports and information regarding our technology. I just want to say I appreciate the work that you do and the time and effort you put into that, knowing that you need that technology and those capabilities to be able to teach those students, to be able to present to them and also do the classwork that's need to be done in those work assignments. Without that proper technology, you tend to struggle. There could be days where maybe you're not even able to teach just due to some of your technology. So just want to say thank you again for the technology, and then also want to say thank you for the presentations regarding a lot of the field trips that are coming up. Obviously, kudos to our robotics team. They've done great things over these past few years. So I want to wish them the best and continue pushing forward. And then also for our middle school going to the Washington, D.C. trip. Gross, I don't know when you went, but yeah, that would be nice to see that continue as we continue to move forward. Like I said, as long as there's, I guess you want to say, some financial support there and the parents' involvement as well, I think that would be a great idea just to get them out to that exposure as well. Other than that, thank you everybody for coming out. I appreciate all the support. That'll wrap it up for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Dooley, right?
Yeah. Thank you for coming out. The audience was full, but I appreciate you coming out. I have concerns as well. I feel bad that parents would think that we would do anything without having their involvement. I feel bad that the students are adversarial with one another at the two high schools, but we will certainly work together to mend and those bridges. It's been brought to my attention that some of you think that I am not your trustee, but I want you to know, and those of you that are watching, that I represent every educational stakeholder, whether you are an internal stakeholder or external. I personally thank those 7,617 voters that put me in this seat. So I'm going to continue to thank those 7,617 voters that put me in this seat. Now, you put me in this seat to provide transparency and accountability to you. You've heard me request the budget, check registries. You've heard me ask for study sessions. So I only voted on the money for the students because at the end of the day, it's about them, the academic achievement, and those things to make them a totally whole person, if we will. So as we move forward, please know that I represent you. Please know that I am here for you. You are ringing my phone, just like her husband said. Mine's ringing too. I'm beginning to think I'm important. They calling too much. So, but seriously, teachers, no, I was on your side. So there, I'm gonna always be a teacher. So we will look for those professional developments for you, those resources that you need, limiting class size, just all those things that you need to be able to deliver instruction. So you will produce a measurable outcome. However, know that I must see a budget. That's to everyone. This is a multi-million-dollar organization. Those of you that haven't went to the listening sessions, you might want to go. Let me tell you some of the questions that were asked for your $81,000. I went to a listening session just to see what was going on. And to my surprise, I thought I was going to hear about the reimagining, the re-imaging of the district, but that was not it. But one question was, what are your present thoughts about the district? Another one, what is your number one concern or priority? And then I'm gonna go to my very best one. If you could wave a magic wand and the district could address your concerns, what would be a solution you would like to see? So you know, that's why I need a budget. $81,000, I agree with the persons that said you could have gotten your senior teachers, you could have gotten your social workers, your ancillary, what's that word? Ancillary, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying. I can't say it right now. Because I'm a little angry because we're spending money that could be used the way I see it for a teacher. We gave $500,000 for additional consulting money. If we have to keep paying people to tell somebody how to do their job, we don't need that person. And I mean it. We need oversight, and the budget is where Trustee Dooley wants to begin. I also am inviting Representative Carter to come into our meetings. Whoever can help me get the budget and get a study session so I can move forward to align our resources that will support academic achievement and sustainability, I welcome you. And with that, have a good night. Trustee Gross?
It's tough following that. I do. We hear what you're saying. We hear you. And I too have, we discussed this before. Because remember, in the past, study sessions work. So let's continue to make this thing work. Let's be creative, create time where we can be Madam Chair. Let's set it up to where we can do so. But let's do it business-wise with us. And I can understand her frustration. However, let's do this at this table to make sure. I'm glad that the community comes out here, but I just wanted to talk about real quickly. I didn't have anything to say, but I received a phone call this morning that the news was here today, early this morning, to clear up some issues as it pertains to information shared on social media about voting and things of that nature, and which of course, as everyone here can see, it did take place. And my point of making these statements, my dad always taught me, he said, son, when you start hearing the half-truths, that means somewhere there's half-lies. Either be fully truthful or fully not telling the truth. We have been, especially now, and I can't say, definitely the last 3 weeks, we have been as transparent as we can because of what's been going on in this community and things that have been said that weren't fully truthful. And whatever it took to get the community out here for us to tell what's actually going on to hear, well, it worked. But I need to say this. Please don't let this be your end all as coming to meetings because of what you've been hearing or reading on social media. Ask that you please come to, I think we go every other Monday in each month. And I've been here now since 2020, and we're in 25, and I've never seen the amount of people in meetings that I've seen in the last 3 weeks because of what was said not by this board. If you want to know the truth, start coming. You may not agree, that's okay. But if you want to know the truth, come and ask. If you want to know the truth, come and listen. But if you continue to say things that appears to be newsworthy, when the news was here at 6 a.m. to report something they heard that someone said was on social media, so they said they were here to clear up the misconceptions and words that were stated because the agenda has been presented in 48 hours. So you could have read on there that we didn't vote on anything. We didn't vote on closing schools, which was stated in social media. We didn't vote on that. And we discussed the plan. We haven't gotten there yet because of what's been transpiring over the last 3 weeks. And I said it at the board governance, and I said it at the meeting before. We have to be about the business of the district. Because at this table, we're not just taking care of one group. We have to take care of all. That includes students, staff, and everything above and in between. So please, and it's okay. I invite you. I want you to come here. I love it when I see these faces. But if you come in strictly because of something you heard or untruths, still come so you can hear the truth. This has been a productive meeting, and we have to continue to focus on being a productive group. I understand, but let's start hearing each other, and if we have to call or talk outside of this meeting to get some of the things that we feel is necessary, let's do so before we have to present it here in this diocese, because that's not good. That's not a good, I mean, it's okay. Everyone has their feelings and they can do other one. But let's do that, and let's do that together. Thank you.
Thank you, VP Bowman.
Good evening. As always, it's a pleasure to greet the community and sit here as an elected trustee. The decisions that we make for this community, they're not taken lightly. It affects each and every one of us, not just those sitting up here at this dais, but everyone in this community. We don't just serve one group of students, as has been stated. We serve all students, no matter what the school, because we are the school district of the city of Pontiac. I hope that we can continue to work together collaboratively and have conversations, and thank you all for the feedback. There was no intent on closing a school at this moment or a vote or anything like that. And as I stated, being vilified for hearing information isn't fair and it doesn't feel good. I'm grateful for all of you who comes out and speak your truth and things like that, but we have no intentions on doing anything without input and feedback and collaboration with the community. Just like when we went out for the bond and millage, we had listening sessions so that we can get the community to understand why we needed to do that. I just hope that we can continue, I can't say continue, I hope that we can start working together, having conversations, talking, and collaboratively understanding that it's not just one child that is affected, it is all children that is affected in this district. And we as a community need to also bring to the light the mental health crisis that is in this community. The city of Pontiac and the students that attend our building, the mental health piece we need to consider greatly. There's many teachers who may have to stop, and we wonder why the academic growth is so slow. Because if I have to stop teaching my class to address the student and behavior, all students suffer, not just the one. But when we speak about the ACEs and the adverse childhood experiences, if they don't get addressed, they turn into adults with adult trauma and experiences. So we need to continue to shed light on the problem, which is greatly part of, which is mental health. So if we can continue as a community, as a people, to understand that this ACEs or the trauma that our children in this community face, it's not just a Pontiac School District problem. It's a community problem that we all need to address and take seriously. I'm grateful for this community, and I hope that we can continue to press forward and rise, because that's what we do. I've never seen Pontiac run into a problem that we can't get out of. So we're gonna continue to do great things. And don't just show up when it's drama and trauma. Show up just to support, and we appreciate it because we all support you. So thank you very much, and go Phoenix.
All right, thank you very much, VP. I'm not gonna reiterate all of the things that my trustees have said, but I do just wanna say again to Ms. Shields and the staff over at Kennedy, thank you for acknowledging our students. That made them feel special, and their parents, most importantly, feel special, but thank you for doing that. I really do appreciate the partnership that we have with Oakland University. Thank you so much for your continuous support of the school district. I also want to share that this is Women's International History Month. So I want to say thank you to the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, as well as the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated that came out to support this meeting, supporting tonight. So oftentimes they don't think women can work well together, or that we have our silos because of our colors. But I just thought that it was very special that all of the ladies of those three organizations were able to come out and share and support during this month. So again, big hugs and love to all of you for being here and for your support. I also wanted to just share, I have two announcements that I want to get to. Summer school announcement, the dates again, and we saw in the presentation why it's important that we push and encourage our students to attend summer school to prevent that summer melt, that learning loss. So the dates are June 30th through July 24th, 2025. It will be held on Monday through Thursdays, and the locations will be Whitman for our pre-K and elementary students, and then Pontiac Middle School for our middle and high school students. The registration is open for all students to enroll online in English and Spanish. And note that Project Excel is offered at all levels. So please note that Project Excel is a 6-week summer program that will go to August 7th. And again, Project Excel is offered at all levels. And it will be a 6-week summer program that will go to August the 7th. So parents, make sure you take heed to that. The other thing I want to share is the grand opening of Brilliant Pontiac. Some may have heard of Brilliant Detroit. It's an organization that take old homes and they refurbish them, they renovate them, and turn them into literacy houses. And so they have a number of these houses throughout the Detroit community where in specific neighborhoods, they have homes as safe spaces for families and children to go and receive the support they need, particularly around literacy, but also around any of the programming that they need within that community. So I'm excited to share that Pontiac will have its first literacy house. And that literacy house will be at 135 Perkins Street. Some of you may recognize or know that to be Maddie Hatchett's old home. And so her house was donated. And it will be Pontiac's first literacy house. A safe space. So Pontiac Collective Impact Partnership, along with Center for Success, Pastor McDonald from Prospect Missionary Baptist Church, we've been working with Brilliant Detroit for a few years, trying to get this concept here in the Pontiac community. So I'm so excited to say that on Saturday, March 22nd, is the grand opening from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. So I'm inviting all of Pontiac to come out. They do have openings now. We can go in and just visit it, but the grand opening for this event will take place on this Saturday, March 22nd, from 12 to 3 p.m. And I do understand that Ms. Hatchett will be there. So I really look forward to having her there. When she came to see it earlier, she was in awe. I mean, if anybody had been to her home and now you go and see what this home looks like, completely different home. So I encourage everybody in the Pontiac community to go and check it out. And this is one of, I know, a couple that Brilliant Detroit looks to bring to the Pontiac community, but this is just the first one. The other thing as we close, I do want to just share about these listening sessions because I've heard it and I did hear Trustee Dooley's comments. I also heard the comments from Fred and Candace. I just wanted to share when the decision was made about bringing in someone from the outside to sit with our administration, sit with our teachers, to hear what their concerns were. The main reason that we brought somebody from the outside is because we were informed that people didn't feel comfortable sharing their comments and feedback with someone internally. So we said, because it matters to us what our family has to say, we brought someone in from the outside. And not only is she here to just sit and listen, but she's also here to assist with assessing our departments. Because again, as we talk about changes being made and talking about wanting to make some improvements, we need to look at where do we need to make these changes. So not only is she doing that part where she's listening to staff and teachers, but she's also going to be a part of the team to help us look at and review each of our departments within our district to assess them to see where changes need to be made. So again, I just wanted to clarify that because I didn't want to continue to hear the comments about wasting money or why we did this. Again, these decisions were made last year, towards the end of the year, I do believe. And again, there was a reason why the board made this decision. We are here to be good stewards of the resources for the school district. And if we had to make these type of decisions, it was one that wasn't made lightly. So I just wanted to reiterate that everything that we do is, again, to do it in the best interest of this district, and that will most importantly benefit our students. So that is why the decision was made. That person was vetted, and that's who we decided to have come into our district to assist us so that we can make those, make whatever decisions we need to make as we go forward. So just wanted to put that out there. I appreciate all of you for staying, being here tonight. And again, I do hope that you continue to come and support the Pontiac School District. And so with that, I want a motion to adjourn. It's been moved by Trustee Gross, supported by VP Bowman to adjourn our meeting. Any questions? Roll call. Trustee Bowman? Yes. Trustee Gross?
Yes.
President Hamilton? Yes. Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Trustee Chair?
Yes.
Yes. And I vote yes, yes, 7-1. Perfect. The meeting is adjourned at 9:00 PM on the dot. Thank you, everybody.